You're listening to the Traumedy Podcast with Nancy Norton. This week on Traumedy.
And that's kind of why I say like comedy kind of like saved me, because not only was I had no purpose, but I was just like, I was very like burnt out on like drugs and I was just depressed and like everything was bad. And then doing comedy really turned everything around because it made me want to be sober. Like I never had a reason to care about being sober, but now like, cause I wasn't sober right away. Like I would do comedy and I'd smoke weed and I'd see what it was like. And I realized like I couldn't do it like as a weed smoker. Yeah. Like I just didn't have energy or like mental awareness like to do it. And so I realized that I couldn't do both. And so I think it really helped me.
Trauma plus comedy equals Traumedy. Traumedy is not a replacement for trauma therapy, but it may help you get by between sessions.
You're listening to Traumedy, the podcast that helps you take your pain and play with it. I'm Nancy Norton. I am a former nurse, comedian, and keynote speaker about the power of humor, why we need it, how it helps us.
Bring the power of humor to your next event with award-winning comedian Nancy Norton. Nancy got out of healthcare for the same reason a lot of people get into it, to save lives. Message Nancy at nancynorton.tv. The Traumedy Podcast is sponsored by Crybaby Badass. You have to feel it to heal it. You are a Crybaby Badass luminary. See your light in the mirror. Do you have a trauma? Hey, you listening, do you have a traumedy story to share? If so, send Nancy a message at nancynorton.tv.
This is a very good episode. Every episode is so good. I love my job. I love my calling. This is a calling, as you know. I cannot not do Traumedy because I need it. I created this because I need it. I need these conversations. I hope by listening in, you get a little something from them as well. I really am learning from every guest some coping skills or some inspiration, and always something funny every single time. And this is a mental health podcast, not so much a comedy podcast. And basically, the whole mission statement, help heal myself and others. And
no pressure.
We're going to heal people. I missed a few jokes with my guest this week because I'm in my kind of other hemisphere of my brain where I'm just listening and holding space. And then I'm like, oh, that was a joke. Okay. So that's embarrassing. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to Traumedy. And if you want to see me out on the road, out in the world somewhere, let's see. I'm recording this on November 10th, 2025. This Friday, November 14th, I'll be presenting The Power of Humor at the Women's Health Symposium in Danbury, Connecticut. And then on the 20th, I will be with Moms Unhinged in Janesville, Wisconsin, somewhere between Madison and Chicago. And then I'm most excited to announce that we're doing a fundraiser. Vinny Montez, who is a guest, he works with the Boulder County Sheriff's Department here in Boulder. And we had our neighbor city, Nederland, had a tragic fire recently. And we're putting together a fundraiser. All the proceeds go to a big fund up there for Nederland to use as they see fit. And it's going to be 3 headliners in one show. It's my buddy John Novosad, who is an amazing comedian from here in Boulder, but we're all headliners at Comedy Works in Denver. It's Vinny Montez, Nancy Norton, that's me, and John Novosad. That's on the 28th at the Dairy Arts Center in Boulder. Come out. It's a good cause. It's going to be a lot of fun. So it'll be fun. And it'll just feel good to get together and do something good for our community. We are just volunteering our time for that. So that's all for now. I'm excited for... What am I excited for? Can I be honest? I don't know where that sentence was going. I was going to say for December, but then why? For the darkness? I'm excited for the darkness of December. How about you? Fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, I have to laugh like that every time. I think I'm really nervous about December because it is the darkest days, the longest nights, and use some levity. Be with like minds. Share Traumedy with a friend who may be isolated with trauma. There's over 100 episodes now recorded with comedians, doctors, nurses, all kinds of healers. And next week, we're going to have on a politician who is teaching me about the political system, because you think you know it, but then you don't know it. I don't know it. I'll be honest. So I wanted to ask her some questions. She will be running for office in the Colorado legislature. So tune in for that next week on Traumedy. Hey, you know what I haven't done in a long time is remind folks about the parasympathetic nervous system resets. I don't think this is a particularly triggery episode, to be honest, but if anything does trigger you and you just need to pause the episode and take slow, deep breaths, anytime during your day, that is such an amazing resource to take a very lovely inhale and hold it and then take a slow exhale. And it's amazing what happens with the calmness. And I get a little too calm. And I have to keep going on this podcast. Okay. Enjoy this episode. See you on the other side.
Share Traumedy with a friend today.
Welcome to Traumedy. My guest this week is a comedian, a writer, and an entrepreneur.
So true.
Please welcome Jeremy Cash, everybody. Woo! I clap for everybody.
Hey.
Yay. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got to meet you. I know we've seen each other around in the comedy biz.
Yeah.
But it was fun, like, hanging out at the Denver Comedy Underground and really hearing all your hilarious... You're kind of a one-liner comic. Do you think of yourself that way?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I've been doing comedy like 11 years now, and now I'm starting to feel like, is that all I can do?
Oh.
You know, like when people describe me as a one-liner comic, I'm almost like, ugh. I mean,
because it feels
totally
like you're boxed
agree,
in. You
but I'm
feel
like,
reduced a little bit?
Well, yeah, and it's like I would love to tell a bit or a story, but I think one-liners come from like a fear of not getting laughter.
Yeah, so you need it every 15 seconds or
so
something?
anytime I've like tried to do a story at an open mic or something, I'll just bail. Because, you know, open mics, they're pretty dead. And if you're going up there to do a story and you're used to doing like 15-second jokes and getting laughs, you start your story and you're 30 seconds in, you're like, oh, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
And so I find it hard to even practice.
Well,
like a story.
Thank you for sharing. That's vulnerable to share right there. And I was just saying before we started, like, I still have stage fright. And I have to admit, when I'm doing a keynote, which there needs to be some dead time where I'm talking about some of the principles of therapeutic humor.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm bombing. They hate me. I'm going to die. Like, there's a part of me that feels like I'm going to die. So I feel ya. I'll feel you on that one, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think one-liners just come from a place of like fear a little bit, where it's like I just need like a constant laughter.
You know, I'm wondering too if there is I want to do a chart or something about how wounded are you? How tight are your bits? You know, like maybe that could be true. Like maybe you're like, I have got to be funny or I don't feel safe, you know, and because a lot of the stuff I talk about on Traumedy, you know, that the wounded healers and like a lot of nurses are wounded healers, a lot of comedians are wounded kids, and we don't know. Like I didn't even know some of the traumas that came back when I did psychedelic therapy. I got to some really early traumas, and I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense now. Is there anything like would you be comfortable sharing anything about your childhood, how you grew up? Was there any stress or trauma that you feel gave you the gift of comedy?
Well, let's see. Both my parents are English. They moved to America in like the 80s, and I lived in England for 1 year, but
just as an infant?
Yeah, when I was 4.
Oh, okay.
I was born in New York, but then we moved to England briefly. And so I have a pretty small family. It's just like me and my mom and my brother at this point in America. And my parents got divorced when I was like 8. So that's kind of like, I don't know, early trauma. Dad like moved basically like to different like places that were across the street from bars. So most of my childhood was with my mom Monday through Saturday, and then with my dad at the bar from like 9 to 5.
No way.
Yeah.
So your dad was a day drinker?
He was a big drinker, and we used to come home and just like my mom would be like, all right, take off your shirt, because we were just reek of cigarettes.
Oh yeah, because
like,
in that time there was smoking everywhere.
Yeah.
In a
so
bar. Wow, you breathed in a lot of secondhand smoke.
yeah, for sure.
How are your lungs?
They're okay. I mean, they're not great. I spent about a decade smoking weed all day, every day.
Oh, so you did your own number on. Yeah, so you're giving yourself a break from.
Well, I'm actually sober.
Oh, you
Fun
are.
fact. Yeah, I haven't drank in like almost 7 years, and that wasn't really my vice, but I also haven't smoked weed in almost 5 years. December 20th. So.
Oh, congratulations.
And that was something that really kind of like not ruined me, but just like I was like a slave to it. And I didn't really have any ambition in my 20s. I just smoked weed and played guitar in my room most of the time I was awake.
Yeah.
And
were you living at home or with your folks? Or
I was actually in Boston. I know you have a Boston connection, but I went to college in Boston, but I didn't really want to be there. I think I pretty much failed everything. I didn't really go to class. I used to play online poker, and so I was.
Were you good at it?
I was okay.
You made some money?
Yeah, I didn't have a job for 3 years. That's how I describe it. But my life was not good. It was just mostly in my room, smoking and gambling.
So really isolated.
Yeah.
And kind of you felt like your word, like kind of a slave to your addictions.
Yes, for sure.
Gambling and marijuana. And
yeah. And for the longest time, I just thought that was going to be the rest of my life. Where it's just like, all I do is acquire weed and smoke weed.
Wow, yeah.
And that's just what I do.
Yeah.
And if I have to lie or like, I don't know, take advantage of someone like my mom, tell her a story to borrow money, I would do it.
Yeah. And you're creative, so you have good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you were self-medicating something? I mean, a lot of us with addictions, my addiction, I'm a codependent, which means my addiction is controlling other people, and it's very insidious. It's really.
Is the mic good?
I think it's good.
Okay.
It's mine.
No, I was just joking because you're like controlling the mic.
Damn it! I hate that I missed the jokes. I'm in this
silly.
other hemisphere. No, I have to watch my shit because it's like, Nance, I get into this mode like, I don't know, traumedy host and therapist.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to go into like my body environment, and then it's like, damn it, I miss a good joke. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
Like Nance, joking. Yeah. So, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like a lot of us with like whatever pain.
Yeah.
Childhood pain, we tend to have things that like make us feel safe or whatever, self-medicate. But there's something like, I'm sure, having your dad at the bar all day was kind of a unique childhood. I mean, maybe some nice things about it. Maybe, is that where you learned some jokes?
Not really. I think I learned how to play pool, I would say, at a bar. But not really jokes. I did used to have like a lot of anxiety, like in high school. Like I was pretty straight edge in high school. I went to like kind of like a preppy school. Like it's weird because I have a brother and he went to like, his school was called Green Meadow Waldorf.
Oh, at the Waldorf
school.
Yeah.
And so he didn't get grades. They didn't take the SATs.
They don't make him read.
Yeah, we couldn't watch TV. But he was very like into like music and like art and drugs, to be honest. And I was just like, I went to like prep school.
Wow, yeah. So you guys
like,
had a total different.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like 95% Jewish Republican rich people.
Wow.
Which was weird.
How did you end up at that one and your brother at the other one?
I don't really know. I was in public school through middle school, and we had like a lot of bomb threats that year. And I think my mom kind of like freaked out.
And this is in upstate New York now?
Yeah.
You've left England. And,
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so I don't really remember how it went down, but my mom thought it would be a good idea, and I started going to private school in New Jersey. And I wasn't like poor by any means growing up, but I went from being like middle class to like the poorest kid at the rich school.
I knew some folks.
weird.
Yeah, I have a friend whose dad taught at like a Beverly Hills high school, and she only got to go to that school because her dad taught there, and all the other kids were famous.
Yeah.
I get that. So all of a sudden,
So I had like my Saturn.
you're
in the
the
parking
poor
lot,
kid.
and everybody else had like Porsches and like BMWs. And there was one kid who got driven by his chauffeur across the street. He was like a little 5-year-old child in a
Across
suit.
the street.
Literally lived across the street and had like a town car pick him up.
God, this sounds like something out of a movie.
It was weird.
God, so you saw all that, and then did you just take on that identity, or did people treat you less than that? You experienced.
Honestly, I was kind of like a little hustler in high school because I started playing poker with like the rich kids when I was like 15, 16. And then I was very good at poker because they were very bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember one day.
You were scrappy. You were the scrappy, smart kid.
One day my friend who had like lost a bunch of money to me, like came into like 10th grade homeroom and just handed me an envelope with like $500 in it. And we were like 15 years old.
So you survived. You earned you found your way to like, okay, I will.
Yeah. I mean, I had friends in high school.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And I do remember people thinking that I was funny. I remember one guy was like, "You're the funniest kid in the school." And it was like my first like month at school. And I wasn't like actively trying to be a comedian. I think I was just like naturally funny because it was never something I considered. And honestly, like comedy kind of like, I don't want to say saved my life, but it made it so much better because I started doing comedy when I was 28. I took an 8-week class at the Gotham Comedy Club in New York, and I was still smoking a lot. I didn't really have much ambition, but I remember doing that class, and then I was taking the train home
To Boston?
Like, no, I was then in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like in Boston from like 18 to 23, and then like shit hit the fan. Like the gambling stopped working, the drugs came back, and I moved back in with my parents, and they like tried to like get me to be sober, but I didn't embrace it, and they were like sending me to therapy and like AA meetings, and
None of it stuck at that time
just-
because you gotta want it, right?
you have to want it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't on board. And so those like 3 years I was home were not great. And they eventually kicked me out of the house, and I got my own place. And then like 2 years later, I started comedy. But I remember on the train home, like from my first class, just being like, what is this feeling? I was like, oh, I think I'm excited for like the first time in a decade. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Feeling alive.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I want to write. I don't know why, but like, cause we just had this like 3-hour class, and they were like, all right, this week you're going to write. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
This talk I did today, I mean, it was at a church, okay? First of all, I was having like church trauma in there, but there was a lot of wisdom shared. And one of the things somebody shared, it was called the Common Good Forum, trying to find the common ground in today's culture. But one of the things the opening keynote said, Paula Stone Williams, I think it was a quote from a poet actually, that was like, be around those who make you feel alive. And I thought that was so I mean, so comedy made you feel alive. Cheers. Here's brought to you by Essence of C at Safeway.
Yeah. And like now this is like what I do. Like I'm like, I've completely gone to the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah. And now you're into only healthy things you put in your body.
Yeah. I mean, I don't eat that great, but like, I try to exercise, get good sleep, and eat healthy for the most part.
Yeah. I find if I do those things, and I don't usually get good sleep, I have to be honest, but this one, my weakest link, exercise, a little meditation. I don't know and then things tend to go well that day. But if one of those things doesn't happen well, I can, my neuronal pathways can go back to some of my, I know when I'm back at my survival traits, because I'm a little more like trying to, control things. Mm-hmm. I tell my son, you see that furrowed brow, that's my inner child is terrified.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I'm not terrified right now. I feel comfortable. So wait, your dad, did your dad get sober?
No.
Oh, but he was trying to get you into AA, or was that?
No.
Oh, who was trying to get you into AA?
My mom.
That was your mom.
We were living in this town, Nyack. I don't know if you know it. It's about 20 miles from Manhattan. And
I don't know it.
Yeah, there's a West Nyack Levity Live. It's a comedy club they got there now. So some comedians actually know it. But it's just like a river town. And yeah, my parents got divorced, and my dad loved New York City. I think that's probably why we came to America in the first place. But when they first got divorced, he was like living in Nyack, but then he was in New York and then Yonkers, and then he eventually moved back to England in like 2005 maybe, and then he passed away in like 2015.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw him. It was weird when he like reached out because he like Skyped me. I was like, oh,
out of nowhere,
this is not gonna be good. Yeah,
just surprise Skype.
He Skyped me, and he was like, I'm dying. Like, I'm gonna die in like a day. Wow. And that was like the first time I talked to him in like a decade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was,
he wanted to say goodbye,
I guess. And we had one more conversation like about a year earlier on Skype, and he was like kind of cryptic. Like, he was like, there's a lot I want to tell you. And I was like, okay. But I never got that conversation, and I wonder if it was like he was like having health issues
and knew,
but
diagnosis
never
or
got
something.
Any clarification on that. But yeah, that was sort of my plan today, to come talk about him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could also talk about drugs, but I feel like drugs is like a safer thing for me to talk about because I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
You know, I've been sober a long time, and
do you work any programs, or you just do it on your own?
No, I don't. I've been to maybe 20 meetings in my life, and I know people that have done that. I had one really good therapist that was like in the program for like 30 years, and he really helped me. But, you know, just reflecting on, because like I'm going to be at 5 years on December 20th, and it's kind of crazy that I did that.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't really know how I did it, because so much of the, you know, the before time was a struggle, like even just going like 3 days or like 1 day. And somehow, I don't know. So during the pandemic, I moved here with someone I was dating for 2 months.
Wow.
We just rolled the dice, moved here. And it was good for like a year. And then we started breaking up during the pandemic. And I moved out, and I moved in with some comics. And I was still like kind of like trying to play poker and just being like a degenerate. And poker was not going well. And I wound up getting this job in like one of those like meal kit places where they put like, you know, like chicken and whatever food in a box, and they send it to you. Yeah. And I worked in that factory like during the peak pandemic. I was getting there like 5 a.m, working till 2. I think we were making like $12 an hour. We were getting like, when we walked in, they would like take our temperature. It was rough.
Yeah. During the pandemic.
Yeah. And
because there's no comedy.
And I was living in Aurora with a comedian, and I was just like, everything was going bad. And I don't think it was the lowest point of my life, but it was like maybe top 2. And I don't know. My mom's always been very supportive, financially or
something
mentally.
Something just clicked, like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Or it's like you decided.
I decided, yeah.
Wow,
and
that's impressive.
I had a job lined up for like the next day. And so the day before, I like smoked all my weed. And then I like went to this new job that I was like, this is going to be better than this like factory thing that's like absolute hell. And I didn't have a car then, and I was living in Aurora, and the job was in Lakewood. And I had to be there at 7 a.m. And I would wake up at like 3. I would walk an hour to get to I would walk an hour to get to the train. Then I would take the train to another train. Then I would take that train to like a bus. It took me 3 hours to get to this job. And I got there, and I was just like, I can't lose this job. Like, this job's going to help me. And it was like a salad store, and they were giving me free salad. And that was just like making me feel healthy. And it was a grind, like the first 2 or 3 weeks. but I knew like if I went back to the factory, I would smoke for sure. And then I eventually found a place in Lakewood, and I moved in with this really cool French guy, and we were roommates for like 4 years. And yeah, I don't know, just little things lined up.
Yeah, like the universe supported it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then maybe even that commute, just like they always say, like when I went through like hitting bottom, I would say as a codependent, when I went to the Boulder County Jail, and I had to go to domestic violence treatment for throwing a guitar. They said it's a really good time to pack your schedule. Like just make it so you kind of stay out of trouble kind of thing. And
that is good advice.
I don't know, but it sounds like you did that with all that 3 hours commuting plus the job. I mean, there's no room for anything else really. 3 hour, and then the job.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't know if you've ever experienced early sobriety, but it's almost like you feel like a superhero because you have all this energy and like adrenaline and like positivity, and that will wear off eventually. They call it like the pink cloud in recovery.
Yeah, like what is it? The first first few months, or
maybe if you're lucky.
Maybe like the romantic phase of a relationship is like 3 months.
3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I had no car. I was doing that. I was going to Mike's after. I was like literally running to and from train stations where I was like, because I was working at like 7 a.m. and I was still trying to get sleep back then. So I'd get to an open mic at like 7. I'd go up first or second, and I would literally be running to Union Station to get home to go to bed at 9 or 10.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah. It's interesting when we look at those times where we like, I don't know how I did that. Like I when I worked 12-hour shifts as a nurse and a single mom and dropped my son at daycare at like 7, like right when they opened at 7 a.m. so I could work as long a shift as I could, drive to my gig, my nurse gig in Arvada. I don't want to do that again, but I was grateful to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it saved me in a weird way, but I don't want to do it again.
For sure.
I was going to ask you, because I distracted you. You're saying I want to talk about my dad, which is harder for me than the sobriety.
It's true. Yeah. And even in like therapy, I've brought that up, and I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a tender. I mean, it's really vulnerable, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dad.
What was hard with him was like, it wasn't that like when he died, honestly, it was like a relief, because I was like, I haven't seen you in like 10 years. And it's almost like worse knowing that you're like around, but I have no relationship with you. Yeah. And so once like he died, I was like, okay, I mean, that sucks, but
I understand.
Now you can't like contact me. It's not an option.
You don't have to feel the daily sense of, is it rejection?
Yeah.
Rejection?
I don't know.
Or abandonment? Maybe abandonment.
I think that's a better way of describing it.
Yeah, because that abandonment that is into perpetuity kind of feeling.
Yeah. But I was saying I had like a one-liner joke.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That comics love and audience hate. But I think
it's because it's very dark, I'm sure.
It is kind of dark.
Yeah, because that's what we need when we have deep wounds. I mean, seriously.
But I say, before comedy, I was a big baseball player. One time I actually pitched a perfect game. Well, it would have been a perfect game, but my dad never showed up.
Yeah.
So I thought that joke could maybe.
And that releases a little of that trauma.
I mean, it's funny.
It is funny.
But it's true too. Like,
but people, I'm sure they kind of do an it hits them, and they're.
It's too sad for regular people. But comics find it very funny.
Yes, I know.
And so I'll do it at an open mic, and it will crush, and then I'll do it at a show, and I will get audible ahs.
Oh, I know.
And it's annoying because I want to do the joke, but I've learned I can't really do that one.
I wonder if it follows something else. But I was going to say over like the arc of a show, like when they know Jeremy Cash.
It's not a joke I've written off. It's just not something I do. But I still think
and placement,
it's good.
Like where to place it in a set, like, yeah. But I know it is kind of weird, isn't it? The whole, like, and I'm sure there are really non-comedian like comedy like wounded people that probably could be comedians that are actually audience members that just love that release of that dark humor.
And sometimes people will say that, like after a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
So, and he's moved on. But did he say anything when he called in that last Skype call besides "I'm dying"? Did he want to tell you?
He was like,
did he give you a nugget or anything? Like, I'm, proud of you, or
no, none of that. But it was like, I think I almost like learned something about him. Like, and maybe I think I get like my kindness from my mom, but maybe my sense of humor from my dad, because my mom's really not very funny. But she's very...
No offense.
She's very kind. and so I appreciate her for that.
Those are sometimes mutually exclusive. I hate to say it. Like, kind comedian, let me think. Oh.
But even the way like he was telling me, like I almost remember him like almost like doing a bit or something, like when he was telling me. Like he was trying to like beat around the bush or something. Like he was like, yeah, things aren't really going for me very well for me right now. And I was like, what are you talking? Like, can you just say what you mean? And so, yeah, I do remember that and being like, oh, this guy's like making a joke right now.
A really dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
Not going great. I'm dying.
But I think he watched one of my like early tapes. When I was really bad, like 2 years in, 1 year in. So he had like seen some video footage. But yeah, all of that was all of my comedy stuff was pretty post, because I started in 2014 and he died in 2015. So
he didn't.
Most of it was after.
Do you have any spiritual beliefs, or do you ever feel like presence of him around? No. Okay.
But I am a spiritual person, or at least I used to be very much so. And I at least for me personally, I do think there's a correlation between like acid use and spirituality.
Yeah. I mean, I've never done acid, but I have had I've done some psilocybin in therapy that changed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2010, right before I moved back to my mom's house for the first time from Boston, I was living with like a hippie jam band, and they had like a vial of acid, which is like a lot of acid. It's like 60 doses or something. And it was just sitting in our mini fridge. And me having no impulse control or whatever, they gave me some, which is fine. And then they went to bed, and I like went back to the fridge and just kind of like poured some in my mouth. Oh my God. And I was literally
you don't know how many doses.
I don't know. I want to say it was anywhere from like 2 to 10.
Wow.
In addition to what I had already taken, which was like 1 or 2. But I was like changed from that moment for like at least 3 years, to the point where like I should have been in a hospital probably.
You felt like you had psychosis? Or?
Yes.
Whoa. So you couldn't tell me more. Like you couldn't differentiate?
No, man. This is very...
Is that too much?
No, I can talk about this. I've only really talked about this once, but it was on a podcast too.
Okay.
So it's on the internet. You can't really escape it.
Okay. It's already out there. But I mean, if you're not comfortable, do not force it. I was just curious, like...
Well, with like psychedelics, you can sometimes get a lot of... synchronicity. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe in that stuff. I used to read like Deepak Chopra books and like Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire, stuff like that.
I definitely have all these cool, like ask Zach Moss. We called in 7 hawks one day. It was weird. Yeah. Okay.
And it's funny you said birds, because I developed this weird thing with birds, to be honest.
See, I don't think this is mental hospital stuff. I actually think this is real, personally. But okay, tell me.
Well, there's just so much, so I'll just give you nuggets. But yeah, I used to like literally like sit on the couch watching TV and feel like I was like my thoughts were kind of like happening in real time. And I was like almost like having a conversation with like the television. Okay. With no words. Like I was like that far out.
And it was turned off or on?
It was on. It was on.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there are these, like, who knows, the atoms inside of any inanimate object They are alive. But you
pretty much, I thought every person could read my thoughts. Like pretty much everything I was thinking, I thought the other person could just hear. And the things they were saying wasn't responding to the world. It was responding to my thoughts.
Okay.
Which was pretty crazy.
I hear what you're saying. Like if it feels like everyone is reading my thoughts, it gets to that egocentric kind of like, wait a minute. But then
that was unnerving.
Yeah. But then you listen to the telepathy tapes, which is
I've listened to that. Actually.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I don't know.
That is wild.
Well, I need to listen to some more of it. Like
I'm gonna go to the hill.
Yeah, go to the hill and commune with the kids. If you haven't seen or you haven't heard the telepathy tapes, it's fascinating about kids with autism and nonverbal and when you listen to it, it kind of makes sense because I used to take care of kids with special needs like that. I was like. I called one of my Zen master because I just felt like, wow, he came into this incarnation so brave, not being able to move
But this was.
Speak. But anyway,
this was in 2010.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the Deepwater Horizon BP Gulf oil spill.
Oh,
it was a big deal. It was happening
horrible.
for a while, and through my copious acid use and psychosis, I was convinced that I was on a mission to with the aid of birds to help in some way with this oil spill.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, tell me how it was going to help. Were they going to go clean it up with their feathers and then they were going to get rushed over to where they do the Dawn? Remember the Dawn dishwashing liquid?
I have no idea, but
they used Dawn dishwashing liquid. They used commercials for Dawn dishwashing liquid to saying they were cleaning the birds.
Yeah. No, I was convinced that I was communicating with the spirit of the universe and my enough positive thoughts could just kind of fix whatever was happening. All
right. Yeah, we are in Boulder and for me that's not too far out there. I mean, they do say the universe who knows?
I wish I could watch back what was happening under my 6 years of sobriety to be like, was I crazy? Because it felt so real for so long.
I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, with spirituality, quantum physics, string theory, everything out there, and they do say manifesting with the loving universe, we bring in what we're thinking about a lot of times. Did positive things happen? Did anything happen that you felt like, that reflected back to you, where
honestly
a shift?
I don't really remember.
Okay. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Did you feel scared or did you was there another part of your brain going, this is crazy?
And the other part enjoying it.
Okay.
So I think that's why I got into drugs in the first place. I was like, I'm going to break open my brain and I'm just going to experience insanity. Wow. That was my goal. See, and I was just give me all the drugs.
You're very confident. Because I'm scared. I'm scared. I hear about DMT and I'm like, I think I'm too scared.
I am now.
I don't want to blast off that far. Well.
But when I was 19, it was just
confident.
Just put the thing in my hand, I'll eat it. I'll ask questions later. And that's weird because I didn't even smoke weed in high school. It went from 0 to 100.
Wow.
From 18 to 19.
And so how many years? You said that lasted 5 or 6. How long?
This was 2010 to 2013.
So 3 years.
3 years. And I was at my mom's house.
Feeling access to something.
Yes. And also not really talking about it with anyone. Having these internal thoughts where I was like, oh, well, I'm they can read my thoughts so they know what's up. But literally not talking to anyone about it. And also not freaking out because I think I could have easily gone been oh shit, this is crazy, what is happening? And I was more just oh, this is cool, I'm along for this ride.
It sounds like you were into really positive things though, you wanted to help make the world better. You know what I mean? You weren't out to do something mischievous. You're
it was weird.
Let's clean up this oil spill with the birds or help
the power of positive thought.
We're back to thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know that if I get a call, okay, this is a very small, very, very small little thing. This is a proximal thing. I have a bird bath out here And I was like, go look in the bird bath. And I went over there and there was a little pollinator trying to swim that, and I had seen a dead one in there before. So I was like, oh no, this bird bath is killing the pollinators. But anyway, I just put my finger in it, latched on, and I put it in the grass. And then I had this knowing that came to me. It was like the God inside that, whatever that is, consciousness, just the consciousness is in that's in me, that called me over there. Like, and I listened to it. I was like, okay, I'll go look. And there it was. And do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there is a collective consciousness of some sort, but that's a very tiny example. I'm not cleaning up, but see, I think you did something, who knows? I had a soul worker tell me, my soul births galaxies. And I'm like, well, what is a galaxy but like a little atom to the multiverse?
Yeah.
I'm not all that, but I do create some, apparently, according to this soul worker, told me I create a birth galaxy.
I do believe in intuition a lot.
Okay.
Like, and that's not exactly what you're talking about, but like,
no, but all of it.
Premonitions and kind of like.
Well, yeah. Have you had things happen where you're like, there's no, like it's beyond probability?
I mean, for those 3 years, like every single moment was like intuition, like just like, synchronicity just materializing in the moment. It was like, because this is how you feel like when you're on acid. When you're on acid or a lot of acid, you feel like you're almost like in this like story. You're like the main character in like a quest, and everything's like magic, and kind of like everything has meaning, and it's weird.
Well, what about this whole idea that we create our own reality? And if this is your play, this is your play that you're writing, why can't anything be possible? I mean, I don't know. I love Ram Dass. You ever listen to Ram Dass? I mean, it sounds
is that
like
the Be Here Now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that book, honestly, when I was going through that book was
spoke to you.
It was. I mean, it was literally in my basement, but I would just like picture that chair, and like I had little like life hacks, like when like certain things I could think about were like bad, and then like bad things would happen, and then like certain things were like good, and they could like reset like the whatever was going on. It was very elaborate.
Yeah.
And very crazy.
Is there anything specific you could share that's like that you can recall? I know you say you forgot a lot of it, but you never heard about like anything with the birds cleaning up the oil spill, or nothing, like did anything, like when you talk about these synchronicities, was there any one of them that was like, wow, I'm not the only one seeing this? Like to me, like with Zach, or with anybody, like I'll tell you, this happens to me time and again now, but I have a witness, and that helps me, because otherwise I'm like, yeah, am I crazy? Like Zach and I were up in the Black Forest doing his festival, the Rapid City Festival, and we were up in this area, and I go, and I was like, hey, let's call in our power animal, because I had been having all these wild hawk things, and then 7 hawks came.
Nice.
And I wasn't alone with it.
Yeah.
Like Zach will testify.
That's cool.
And then like another time, I don't know, like a friend of mine who's in my recovery program, totally sober, we're floating down the St. Vrain River, and I just said, oh, thank you, higher power, thank you, God, for this beautiful day. And then this golden eagle just came right over me, and I was like, wow. And then a second one, and it just felt like a little confirmation of spirit. Now that could be, and people could just say, that's a coincidence, and maybe so, but anything happened to you that felt beyond probability, or that left a mark, or like a confirmation feeling?
Yes. A lot, all the time, but I can't think of like
nothing
a specific
pops out.
thing.
Okay, that's cool. That's all right.
But
I just was curious if anything.
I wish,
Do you still have it? Do you still have any of those moments? Do you feel like you said you believe in intuition?
I have like probably 100 notebooks, and one of my notebooks, probably my first ever notebook, because this was before comedy, was like during this time. And I used to like write like these little like poems about like what was going on. And like I was saying, with like the oil and like the birds and like talking to the spirit and all of that.
It would be wild to go back and look at that.
And I still have that book.
I would love to go back and look at that and do some Google searches.
It's nutty, but
no.
it is. I'm very glad I have that.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like you've really turned a lot of your angst or anxiety or pain into creative, because you said you play guitar.
I used to. I don't
poetry.
so much anymore. I really am focused on comedy now.
Yeah, and you're good, man.
Thanks.
Your jokes are tight and funny. They pop. They always pop.
But to get back to comedy, like I started in 2014. And so, you know, this was like just at the end of this whole insanity stuff. And that's kind of why I say like comedy kind of like saved me, because not only was I had no purpose, but I was just like, I was very like burnt out on like drugs and I was just depressed and like everything was bad. And then doing comedy really turned everything around because it made me want to be sober. Like I never had a reason to care about being sober. But now, like, cause I wasn't sober right away. Like I would do comedy and I'd smoke weed and I'd see what it was like. And I realized like I couldn't do it like as a weed smoker. Yeah. Like I just didn't have energy or like mental awareness like to do it. And so I realized that I couldn't do both. And so I think it really helped me. You know, and I didn't get sober for another 6 years. Like it was back and forth for those 6 years.
Yeah, that takes a while to get to the point where.
But I think without like having comedy and like something I was trying to do that was just positive, I don't know if I would have ever made it.
I believe you because I mean, so many guests. You know, I've had so many comedians on, and a lot of us, we don't even know if we'd be here. Yeah, like, we're not sure. Some of us, you know, like it does. I mean, I don't know. I've been in some Facebook threads where they're like, yeah, if comedy saved your life, you weren't really depressed. Like, no.
Well, I call it my anti-drug.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for sharing all this. Is there anything else you wanted to share today or drop in about? Like, I don't want to limit you, but I also.
No, I think my plan was to talk about one topic with a backup of a second, and we hit 3 topics. So.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
All right, so you're still close with your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And where does she live?
She lives still in New York. She's a librarian. She's retired. She's always been very supportive of comedy.
I love librarians.
Paid for my classes, you know.
I love librarians.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, there's something.
No,
I have a good friend who's a librarian, and I mean, when you think about a librarian, I mean, they're just they love learning. Yeah. They have all this information, and they love sharing it.
She likes helping people.
Yeah, they love helping people.
Yeah. So my mom is very good vibes,
and she's a good supporter of your comedy.
Yeah. My brother's an artist. You know, he does like cool paintings and stuff. He actually lives in like Boulder pretty much.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh cool.
Yeah, I have a weird family. Like I don't really communicate much with my brother.
You're different people.
Yeah. I mean, I want to. That's a whole nother can of worms, but.
That's for the next. That's for part 2. Is that for part 2?
Part 2.
But I know there's some sibling pain. I'm not that. My siblings are all back in the Ozarks, and I'm definitely this outsider. I was going to say black sheep, scapegoat, whatever. I'm not very popular in my family.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 4.
Okay.
Yeah. My joke is I'm born the 4th of 3 that were wanted.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, maybe you could write for me. Could you punch that up for me? Yeah, that was the name of my album. Was 4th of 3.
Cool.
And they let me use their picture on the cover, you know, 'cause it's 5 of us, kind of stair-step kids. My mom had 5 kids in 7 years. So their first 3 are all in color, and then my younger sister and I are in black and white.
Okay.
Sort of like, we were like the 4th and 5th that were, it was after a trauma my mother went through, and I think it changed her, but also I think it was like, she wanted to have 6 kids, but then she was, like, you don't realize how tired you're going to be.
I bet. I can't even, yeah.
Well, how do people, so you're now based in Colorado? Or do you, you're here
I
now?
live in Lakewood. I've lived in Colorado for 7 years.
Yeah, isn't it a great comedy community?
Yeah,
honestly. Mean, it's the best, I think.
wasn't even really feeling comedy when I moved here. Like, I had been doing stand-up in New York for 4.5 years. In the first 3 years, I was like gung-ho, but by year 4, I was kind of like, I wasn't really feeling it. You know, you're paying for open mics in New York. Nobody's making money. Everybody's so good. It's expensive. Nobody's getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is rough. And then I came here and, I didn't move here for comedy. I like moved here because I was dating someone.
Yeah.
It just happened to be a good comedy scene. And I just started going to open mics, and everybody was like much more, like it's hard to have like friends in the New York City comedy scene.
Yeah.
Because there's just like 10,000 comedians. But here there's like, I like know 95% of them.
Oh, yeah. When I went to New York just to visit Salma Zaki.
Yeah.
Anyway, Salma, I kind of followed her around on some but I noticed people just go in and they pop out.
Yeah.
Like there's not like a hang. It didn't feel like people are hanging. Like here we go in, like tonight, I'm going to go with you.
Yeah.
I had this day job today, this keynote thing, so I'm going to go hang out at the Boulderado I got to get Jesse on here. Jesse Carter has Comic Sense in the basement. I love that license number 1.
So good.
Yeah. And so how do people reach you if they wanted to reach out to you?
I'm on Instagram, Jeremy Cash Comedy.
Yeah.
That's my main.
Oh, you got to check it.
Main thing.
You got to check out Jeremy.
Yeah,
so
check
funny.
me out.
Yeah, check him out. I mean, I was watching your bits. I saw him originally, but I was like, I want to kind of had to refresh my memory because my memory banks are kind of, they purge daily.
All good.
But I just remembered. I remembered the vibe, but I couldn't remember all the bits. But there's so many. I mean, you guys that write that tight, you have to write so many jokes.
Yeah.
Your set list has to be so long.
Yeah, and one thing I love about comedy, and like I've been writing jokes for 11 years, and I feel like I'm pretty good at knowing what's going to work, but at the end of the day, I don't. So it's like you have to go to open mics, and it's like a conversation you have with the audience where you're like, here's some stuff I think is funny. Now you tell me what actually is.
Yeah,
and
to you. Because specifically, like you said, I mean, there's different, like you go downtown Comedy Works, you go to the South Club, or you go to wherever out,
Yeah, but I love that dynamic part where it's like it's not just me writing these jokes, it's me writing them and then you telling me what is working and then me listening to that or not listening to that, because like with the dad joke, like that's me being like, no, I'm gonna keep trying this, but like the feedback is like, this is too sad. But I just love that it's like it seems like a one-sided thing, but it's very much, it's just like a conversation where you're like, here's the thing I think is funny. What do you think? Okay, you think it's funny. Now I know it's funny because you told me, not because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And I just love that, like, because you can't really do it without the audience.
Well,
that's cool.
Thank you for saying that, because I think we do forget, like, it is a group thing. Like, I like to think about the space between us. That's why sometimes I'll say that out loud. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about what's right in between us here. And that is fun. It's almost like an ice sculpture or something. It's a temporary art. Because even though we might do the same bits, it is different audience to audience. And we read like macro and micro signals. If you're like me anyway, I will be like, oh, I can kind of feel they're going to want this or that bit. So it's a different set every time. This kind of makes it, it makes it really exciting.
It's personal and it's unique. It's not always just
so relational.
These are the 12 jokes in a row that I'm going to do no matter what.
Yeah.
It's like you could try that, but it's not always going to work.
Yeah, it does. It keeps it interesting.
It's like a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
So.
Are you the clownfish or are you the anemone? Did I say it right? Anemone. I'm not sure. I saw Finding Nemo, but anyway, I know that's
I was going to say enema, but I don't think that's the thing.
That's a whole different symbiotic relationship. Oh, man. Jeremy Cash, thank you so much for coming by. Follow Jeremy.
That was fun.
I'll put some things in the show notes, maybe some of the books that we mentioned. Well, let's go do some comedy downtown Boulder.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
I have trouble with closure. And again, no, I say goodbye. Dude, that was fascinating. I want to thank my guest, Jeremy Cash. You can find Jeremy at Jeremy Cash Comedy on Instagram and go see him. He's hilarious, you guys. I got to see him that night after we recorded, and honestly, brilliant comedian. Check him out. As always, I want to thank my son, Nathaniel Norton, for being my son, first of all, and for playing so much chess. We play chess a couple of games a day. We're both kind of obsessed and equally, like I say, he's not blundering anymore. He's on his ADHD medication. It's not fair. I'm still blundering my queen. But I love it. I have to say, it's we have a conversation, we sip tea, and it's a lovely connection. So it's something I'm savoring this time with him. And he does create this music loop, or did, like 3 years ago, but I keep using it. So I just want to keep thanking him. And I want to thank you, the listener, for being a witness, and let me know how I can help you. And remember, no matter what are we going to do? Keep laughing.
Subscribe and share Traumedy.